Most people won't admit it, but they don't actually want to see you win. They'll say they're happy for you. They'll smile, they'll clap. But deep down, your progress makes them uneasy. Because when you start achieving your dreams, you quietly remind everyone else of the dreams they gave up on. Welcome to Glitch Cult, where we talk about the truths people usually avoid. Today, we're breaking down why success often makes people uncomfortable, and why the moment you start growing, you'll notice some people slowly pull away. It's strange how your success can make other people uncomfortable. You'd think progress would inspire them, but often it doesn't. It reminds them of what they could have done. When you start changing your life, you unintentionally hold up a mirror, and what that mirror shows isn't always pleasant. They see the habits they ignored, the dreams they buried, the choices they didn't make. Suddenly, your growth feels like a silent accusation, even though you never meant it that way. You're not attacking them, you're just doing what they said they wanted to do someday. But someday never came, and that's where the tension begins. When people see you evolving, it breaks the illusion that everyone's trying their best. Because if you can do it, then it shows it was never about luck. It was about efforts and discipline to do it continuously. It means they could have done it too, and that thought hurts. It's easier to say you got lucky, or that things are unfair, than to admit you simply tried harder. You'll start noticing small shifts. The compliments get quieter. The enthusiasm feels forced. Their jokes turn a bit sharper. It's not open hostility, it's discomfort. The uncomfortable truth that your life is no longer a shared struggle, but a separate path. You change the story without their permission. But the truth is, your progress doesn't expose their flaws. It just reveals their choices. And that realization can either push them to grow or make them resent you. Most people choose the second option, not because they're bad, but because facing your own reflection takes courage, and courage is costly. It demands you confront what you've avoided for years. It asks you to admit that maybe you could have been more, and not everyone can live with that kind of honesty. There's a comforting lie people tell themselves, that everyone tries equally hard. That life is fair if you just wait your turn. But effort isn't equal. It never was. Some people wake up, handle their regular responsibilities, and still find time to work on something that matters to them. Others keep waiting for the motivation to arrive. And when the results start showing, the difference becomes uncomfortable to look at. When you start achieving your dreams, people cling harder to that myth. They'll tell themselves you had it easier, that maybe you had connections, money, or luck. Because accepting the truth that discipline creates distance would mean admitting their comfort came with a cost. That's not something everyone's ready to face. The idea of equal effort gives people permission to stay the same. It keeps things fair in their mind. It turns success into coincidence, not consequence. Because if effort isn't equal, then the world isn't as balanced as they'd like to believe. And that means personal responsibility suddenly becomes heavier than it's ever felt. The world subtly teaches us to downplay effort, to pretend everyone's equally hardworking, just in different ways. But deep down, people know who's actually grinding and who's not. They just don't like being reminded of it. Your consistency exposes the imbalance. It breaks the illusion that everyone's putting in the same hours. That's why, when you achieve something, some people pull away. It's not envy, it's guilt disguised as indifference. You remind them that they gave up too soon. You remind them that equal effort was never real. That's why the ones who move forward are often misunderstood, because their persistence exposes how much mediocrity depends on pretending it's not a choice. When you start changing, people notice. They begin to wonder if they'll still recognize you. In a way, they're right to wonder because growth changes things. It changes how you speak, how you spend your time, what you care about. It doesn't mean you become someone else. It just means you started paying attention to what actually matters to you. For a lot of people, that's uncomfortable. They like the version of you that fit neatly into their life. The one who shared the same worries, the same habits, the same mentality. Most friendships form around similarity. You bond over what you both complain about, what you both hope for, and what you both keep saying you'll do someday. When you finally start doing it, the balance shifts. The conversations change, and you start building your own identity, one that doesn't completely fit inside the old version of us. That's when people start pulling back. They'll say you've changed, or that you're becoming distant. What they really mean is they can't find themselves in you anymore. You're not wrong for changing. You're just not staying where they left you. Change can feel like loss to those who don't share it. Sometimes people don't actually want you to do better. They just want you to stay the same. It's not out of malice. It's insecurity. They're scared that if you move forward, they'll be reminded of the choices they didn't make. They're scared your progress will prove that they could have done more too. And that's a hard thing to face. But growing apart isn't betrayal. It's just what happens when two people stop walking in the same direction. You can still care about them, even if you can't stay where they are. Not every person in your past was meant to see your future. Some were only meant to walk with you for a while, and that's okay. It hurts when connections fade. It always does. But with time, you start to see that it's not rejection. It's space being made for who you're becoming. You stop trying to stay relatable to the person you used to be, and start accepting the person you're turning into. And that's the quiet truth about growth. You lose some people, but you find yourself more clearly. Society has a strained relationship with success. It celebrates ambition, but only when it's distant. Once you start achieving things, people start whispering about humility. They say you should stay grounded. Humility has been twisted into a form of social compliance, a polite way to tell people to dim their light so no one feels insecure. We've confused being humble with being invisible. But pretending to be less doesn't make you humble, it makes you dishonest. You don't owe anyone the comfort of your smallness. When you aim high, people confuse confidence with arrogance. They think your belief in yourself is an insult to their self-doubt. That's why so many people stay quiet about their dreams. It's safer to appear humble than to be called ambitious. But real humility isn't about shrinking. It's about knowing your worth without needing validation. It's about remembering you're still learning, even while you're growing. You can be grounded and still walk tall. You can be grateful without apologizing for being visible. The truth is, people only start calling you arrogant when you stop needing their approval. Because self-belief is threatening to those who never built their own. They mistake your self-assurance for superiority because they've never experienced confidence that wasn't borrowed from someone else's opinion. And that's where most people get stuck, between wanting to be proud and wanting to be liked. But you can't live in both worlds. At some point, you have to stop performing humility for people who never clapped when you were small. Because the world doesn't need you to hide your growth. It needs you to own it, without shame, without guilt, and without apology.